Yo, what's up, guys? Second to last video before the start of the season tonight. I know I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. We got Cowboys Eagles coming up in a few hours from now, but just going to keep dropping these every morning, these first and five shows. So just going to hit 5 topics, making sure we're staying up with the news and everything. And before we get into it, I hate to do it, but if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button on the channel. I know I'm basically a real YouTuber at this point. I just have to start every video by saying that, but as a small channel, it would help a lot. We are growing in views, we're growing in likes and comments and all that good engagement stuff, but our subscriber number is kind of staying the same, so we'd love to see that go up. We'd love to hit the moon. So yeah, it's just a click, and hopefully our content is good enough to reward that 3-second action on your guys' part. But let's get into topics today. It was a wild day of NFL news, and none of it was really good in particular. To start off, look, George Washington, right? Benjamin Franklin, Martin Luther Jr., Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi. All these guys were trailblazers and really patriots. And what is a patriot? We throw that term around. It's not a person that plays in New England for football. It is, and I have the definition in front of me. It is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. The people that started Stream East, in my book, are patriots. They're real life Robin Hoods. If you guys don't know the story of Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the poor. We're just beggars, okay? And we don't want to pay $400 to watch our precious football. And these guys, like a hand of God coming down from the heavens, graced us with their platform to give us free football on Sundays. Yes, were there some struggles? Of course. You had to click out of 8 different ads. If you wanted to unmute it, you had to click out 3 more ads. Obviously, some of those ads were we'll say promiscuous. If your parents were around, you kind of had to shift the computer away. But who were we to complain? Beggars quite literally cannot be choosers. And they were selfless. They really were. They had that by themselves, and they could have enjoyed it on their own accord and would have never been caught. But yet, they gave it up for us. Yes, they made money in the process, and I'm sure they were driven by that to some extent. But I would like to think that they were more gratuitous than that, and they were more, empathetic or altruistic in their endeavors, and really they saw some good that they could do in the earth. Most of us humans, we're selfish, right? We go through life and think about what's best for us, what's best for the people around us in our communities, in our families, right, amongst our friend groups. But they extended to a whole country of young men, young women who just wanted to watch their team. And is there anything greater than that? In the past, we had the Boston Tea Party, and now, instead of tariffs, today it's having to pay $500 for football. So, what I wanted to say on this is that they had to take some sacrifices, right? And now that they're caught, they're going to have to pay for those sacrifices. But imagine living your life knowing that. And look, guys, if you look up the numbers on ChatGPT, I just did an estimation of how much money they've cost the NFL and NBA over the past 5 years. And ChatGPT spit out $66 billion, which I don't think is a gross overestimate. Imagine knowing that you're stealing redistributing. Let me use redistributing. You're redistributing $66 billion. Can you imagine living life like that? Like the target that would be on your back? And they caught them in Egypt. So obviously they had to make, I don't know if they're from Egypt or whatever, or they had to make major life changes in order to sustain this endeavor. But it's their time of darkness. They came to us in our time of darkness. What are we going to do for them? How can we help them? Are they cooked? Maybe they're completely cooked, but I want to at least do something. And so I'm going to dedicate the 2025 Toronto Mystics season, my fantasy team. We're dedicating it to those 2 gentlemen, our fallen soldiers, our patriots, and hope that, maybe our team can exemplify just a splice of their generosity. And I think that would serve us well as we move towards our season. So I just wanted to give a quick moment of silence to them for everything that they did, and just know, my heart goes out to you in these troubled times, and I'm thinking of you, and I hope that your future can shine brightly, because you have shined brightly upon all of us. Uh, Topic number 2 here, red zone. Guys, it was a bad day of news. And it's weird because it feels like the red zone news came out right after the Stream East news. So it's like bang bang. So not only are you guys not going to get it for free from Stream East, but you guys are going to have to pay for red zone, or pay for, football. And on top of that, we're going to throw commercials on red zone. Like, what, talk about a news dump. And are we surprised? Are we really? I mean, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember the old ESPN, but I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even have the concept of a business in my head. I just thought, hey, ESPN is the channel that shows all the sports. And it was simpler times for me. I wasn't thinking about corporate greed, or thinking about, who's obtaining the rights to these games, and do they have partnerships with the leagues, and do those partnerships mean that they can't say certain things because that's going to affect the partnership with the league. For me, it was just entertainment. It was just, hey, ESPN is the sports channel. And, we had OG Sports Center that actually focused on highlights. We had top 10 plays, First Take. We had home run derbies in the summer, NBA games in the winter. And it was just an all calendar year of greatness. And they had it all. They really did. From a talent perspective, they had the best writers, they had the best anchors, they had live rights, entertainment mixed with news. Their coverage was focused on the court. Crazy concept, right? You're covering sports, and they just focused on the sports. Shows like Outside the Line, those were novelties. They were not the, whatever typical show that you would go on to see. Most shows that you would see would be talking about, hey, what's Brett Favre looking like in this offense? Do we think that Adrian Peterson is going to rush for 2,000 yards this year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And not in a debate format, in just a question format, in a, hey, we're going to pose this question and we're going to talk it out. Not going to be always, clashing at each other, but it was a more collaborative entertainment process. And then it feels like when FS1 showed up, that completely changed everything for ESPN. They finally had a real competitor. FS1 obviously took Colin Cowherd, they took Skip Bayless, and the people that filled in for those people didn't really do it. I mean, I liked Max Kellerman, I liked Will Kane, but they didn't really hold a candle to Skip. Michelle Beadle was good for a while, but without Colin, that show, I forget what that show was called, the one Michelle Beadle and Colin Cowherd did together, but that show kind of fell off, and everything got politicized, and maybe we have ourselves to blame, right? I hate when people just blame the company without taking a little bit of reflection on, like, look, what's the company's motivation? To make money. All right. So why are they putting this content out? Well, this content makes more money. Why does this content make more money? Well, it's because more people tune in. Okay. So ultimately, we're to blame. They are going to feed us what we want. And so, yeah, the masses, they like conflict. They like the politicized style news, the stuff that hot takes, stuff that can be spliced out into shorts, into short, quippy formats. And, remember, though, that journalism, and I know ESPN is probably more entertainment than journalism, but at the end of the day, journalism is supposed to be about servicing the truth and not about servicing financial desires. And sometimes I think we get lost in that with news. And I use news, liberally here, because I don't think most news is news these days. It's just entertainment, spliced up or spruced up as news. But for the most part, is just trying to engage or incite, elicit rage from people, and just hot takes, and make people feel that they think they know more because the people on the TV are saying what they want to hear, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but now ESPN is borderline unwatchable, and that was a conscious choice they made like 5-10 years ago to go this route. And they can't build their own talent from within now, so instead they hire former athletes. You see Kendrick Perkins, et cetera. They hire shows from other networks. They got McAfee from YouTube. They get Rich Eisen, who's starting in a couple weeks on ESPN. And what was once a creative hub of a bunch of young, talented, hungry, aspirational people has now become a financial juggernaut that's turned into a money pit, right? Driven by egos at the top. And for people that have been there for a while, I feel like Stephen A probably walks around like he's Homelander. Like he walks up to Kendrick Perkins and pokes him in the stomach and it's like, you fat fuck, are you drinking another milkshake? You know, like Stephen A has to have the highest ego of any personality in sports, maybe in news in general. If anyone has main character syndrome, it's Stephen A. Smith. And not that I'm really hating on the guy because, you know, obviously he's entertaining. Obviously he's had a long path that's taken him to his point and he deserves all his flowers. I'm just saying I get a little sick and tired of watching him all the time talk about like, oh, you know, I run shit around here, like blah blah. It's like, brother, can we focus on the takes? Like, damn, you're on First Take. You're not on the Stephen A. Smith show, and you literally have the Stephen A. Smith show to do that. But he brings a lot of that to First Take. Yeah, I mean, it's just a clown show at ESPN. So now they're going to continue doing this. They're taking Red Zone. They're taking Inside the NBA. They're going to ruin these two, and in the end, they're going to make more money. But their place in the collective, you know, cultural consciousness has probably been extinguished forever. And no matter what they do, they're probably never going to reclaim once what they once were. So it's sad to see. I know the 12-year-old me is crying inside for what we have to see today. Topic number 3. Look, I'm going to go against the grain here. Taylor Swift halftime probably going to happen. I feel like we're due for this. Lately we've had a lot of really good halftime acts that have surfaced one specific niche, which is like R&B and rap, right? We had Kendrick Lamar, we had The Weeknd, we had all the rappers out there in Los Angeles. I think it was like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Eminem, Mary Blige. I'm trying to think if I missed anyone in there, but oh, Usher. We don't gotta talk about that one, but yeah, so we've had this niche. It's time for a pop star to do it, and yeah, it's probably gonna be Taylor Swift. And I know, guys, it's not gonna be great. In the lead up to it, it's gonna be annoying. The day of is going to be one of the most annoying days of our lives. So when you're faced with a real harsh difficulty, you can try to reframe it in your mind to be a positive. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. Look, guys, I don't know if you guys have watched Miracle. It's my favorite sports movie about the hockey team that beat the Soviets in Lake Placid, Miracle on Ice, obviously. And there's a line in there, right, where Herb Brooks, the coach of the team, he's being hard on the players and they all hate him. And the team doctor looks at the assistant coach at one point and he's like, maybe if they, you know, all hate him and spend all their energy hating him, they won't have time to hate each other. So maybe, you know, trauma bonds, right? Tragedy bonds. We've seen that at a national level before. This is our tragedy. This is our for our demographic. This is going to be horrific, and we're going to get through it together, and that's going to bond us together. Because yes, obviously people bond over stuff they love, but people really bond over stuff they hate. So your friend group out there, you guys are never going to be closer than you are going to be, you know, during that time. I'm not going to compare ourselves to soldiers again, but we're storming Normandy. And the glitz and the glamour and the sparkles and the bedazzles and having to hear whatever songs and having to hear screams of the people around you at the Super Bowl party, it's going to be like shrapnel. It's going to be like bullets flying. It's going to be like smoke in the air. And we just need to keep our heads down. We need to keep our heads straight. Look out to your brothers. Fight for your brothers next to you. And that's the only way we're going to get through it. And maybe we'll be better for it in the long run, because coming out of tragedy, it can reframe, it can make you appreciate what you didn't appreciate before, and you have a better sense of your own self-identity. Because if I got through this, then I'm the kind of person that can get through that. And there's positivity there, there's self-growth there, there's maturation there. And so yeah, look guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to be bad, but try to think about it that way would be my best advice, I guess. But god damn it. All right, Kawhi. Look, man, I love Steve Ballmer. He might be my favorite owner in all of sports, and respect to Ballmer for this, okay? Like, think about Steve Ballmer. He is a guy with massive balls. He goes into Los Angeles, into Lakers territory, into who would ever try to compete with the Lakers? Well, Steve Ballmer will. Okay, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to make one of the biggest moves in NBA history and get Kawhi and Paul George back to back. Did it work? That's irrelevant. Let's not focus on results for a second. Let's focus on what Steve Ballmer is actually doing. He builds a stadium, which is the best arena in all of basketball now. He has the wall. He's showing that he cares more about fan experience and about home court advantage than he does about the bottom line. Take notes, ESPN. And this is just a little bit of creative financial accounting. And two things. A, I'm sure way more people do this than Steve Ballmer. Like, let's not be naive. I'm sure there's quid pro deals all the time in the NFL and the NBA. And can we blame Ballmer? Can we really blame him? Because he's such a great man. I'm sure he's done stuff like this his entire career. And yes, some people hate rich people, for sure. But like Bill Burr has a great bit where he talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger got caught cheating on his wife, and oh, blah blah, what reprehensible behavior! Like, oh, how could Arnold Schwarzenegger do it? I'll tell you how he could do it. Because he succeeded in everything his entire life up to that point, right? He learns a new language. He gets really good at weightlifting. He becomes a movie star when he can't speak. He wins political office when he doesn't even know the name of the state that he's representing, right? Like, if you're accumulating win after win after win after, why would you not think that you're going to get another win? And then when you finally lose, oh, everyone has, oh, tear him down, trash, whatever. Like, yeah, was this probably the most ethical thing by Steve Ballmer? Probably not. I don't know if there'll actually be negative ramifications for this. I like Steve Ballmer is not going to be taken out at ownership, and I doubt Kawhi will be suspended for anything. So I don't know. I'm pro this. I if I were a Clippers fan, I would be like, I love how our owner is thinking outside the box and trying to do anything creative to help us stay ahead. And then as for how the story got out, man, Pablo Torres, bro, he ain't it. That guy's the worst. Like, talk about a rat. Like, not even a snitch. He's just a pure rat. Someone who will use anything that he overhears, any conversation that he has, as information to back his own, like, journalistic brand. And I don't know if you guys followed, like, all the stuff he had with Bill Simmons a few months ago about the Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick report he had, where there was, like, a Ring camera involved, and he talked to all these insider people. And, yeah, hey, it's not the best day. It's not the best week to be defending Belichick. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a lesson here that it's a nobler thing to try to become a great man on your own accord than spend your life trying to tear other great men down. And I know that there needs to be safeguards for great people, and you can't let them do whatever they want. And yes, there is some validity in pushing out the truth at the end of the day, but I don't know. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? All right, last subject here. Thursday night football. Tonight, I can't believe I can say that. Tonight, what a... we finally made it. So yeah, we have Cowboys Eagles. I just want to go through my final score prediction for this, and then 3 bets that I really like for this. So score prediction, I'm going with Eagles 30, Cowboys 20. I have the Eagles controlling the game in the first half, and then the Eagles controlling the game in the first half, and then the Cowboys kind of stepping up in the second half and making the score more respectable than probably the game will show. I think Eagles probably handled them. I like them to cover. Don't love it, wouldn't bet it. But the 3 bets that I do like: Dak Prescott 25 plus passing yards in each quarter, minus 135. The way this wins is the Cowboys get the ball first, because I'm not worried about the second half, because again, I feel like the Cowboys are going to have to throw, and you'll see that as a theme in these 3 bets. So I'm not worried about the second half at all. Fourth quarter is free. Third quarter I like a lot. So as long as he can get the ball first, get to a hot start in the first quarter, maybe get the ball early in the second quarter, I like that one a lot. I'd be close to saying that one's a lock. Second one, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens to each have 20 plus receiving yards in each half. This one is plus 340 on FanDuel. So, like, yeah, it has a harder chance of coming true, but plus 340 feels aggressive on the line. You shouldn't feel worried about CeeDee Lamb getting that. The question, I guess, is more George Pickens 20 plus in each half with him. And the reason that this is a fun bet to make as well is that Pickens is just such a big play wide receiver that every play you're going to be on the edge of your seat. Like, this is the play. This is the one fade route he's going to do. This is his post. Like, I think this is an exciting bet and a fun one to do, especially if you get in the first half. Because again, if the Cowboys have to throw in the second half, they should be in a good position to get that. And then final one, again, theme here, Cowboys over 9.5 second half points. I don't have the odds in front of me, but I believe it's like 120 something, maybe 115. But again, I think they might have trouble scoring in the first half, and then second half they're maybe a garbage touchdown late, something like that. So those are my bets. But hey guys, it doesn't matter if you win your bets. It doesn't matter how fantasy goes tomorrow. Let's just try to appreciate the moment and appreciate that we finally made it. We have football back for one night. Let's just smile, have a good time. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back tomorrow, Friday. We'll be doing this show Monday to Friday, so one more day this week, and I'll probably be recapping Thursday Night Football, and we'll see what other news comes in the NFL world. Hopefully, it's more positive than today's, because not going into the season with the most positive note. So yeah, all right, I'll catch y'all though. Peace.